All right then, guys, jumping straight into the session, what would you like to do?
Well, I guess I'm just going to start rummaging through this pile of bones, seeing as Raarh is too preoccupied with that stupid frog.
Oi! That stupid frog has a name. His name is Pepe.
Oh, I sincerely apologize. Let me correct myself. Since Raarh is too busy with that stupid frog named Pepe.
Oh, let him have his fun. He's done more than enough to earn it after tonight. Let's all just begin searching, separating recently deceased from older.
Organized. I like it. All right then, Joe. We spend the next however long searching for the corpses that were strewn around the fort's courtyard when Gaba first moved in.
Okay, so whoever wants to take the lead on this, give me a strength check with advantage.
So, who actually is the strongest after Raarh? You know, because he's distracted.
The correct term you was looking for is preoccupied.
I think it's actually you, Alexandrew.
Are you being serious? My strength is 12.
Well, yeah, that certainly beats my 10.
And it's absolutely better than my 5.
Oh my god, this is diabolical. So that's a 15 total.
See, that's not even bad. I don't know why you were stressing.
It's less that I was stressing, and more like I was shocked at how pitifully weak we all are.
I prefer to think of us as well-rounded.
As you all approach the morbid task, the air grows thick with the stench of decay. The mound of vines and foliage before you hides a grim collection, an unholy blend of recent death and ancient remains. Alexandrew takes the lead, his strength guiding the group as you begin to separate the intertwined foliage from flesh and bone. The first pile you form is of the recently deceased. The bodies still hold a semblance of the forms they once were, the skin pallid and stretched tight over stiffening limbs. The stench is overpowering, a sickly odor that clings to the back of your throat. Moving deeper into the mound, you reach what can only be described as that disgusting middle section where the bodies are in the throes of decomposition. Here, the flesh has turned to a slushy consistency, melting away from bones that jut out prominently. The smell here is even more acrid, a pungent aroma that mixes the tang of rotting vegetation with the foul stench of decayed flesh. Each movement sends a new wave of the nauseating scent into the air, and more than once you turn away, gasping for a breath of cleaner air. Finally, you come to the bones, bleached and dry, stripped of all but the most stubborn sinew. These relics of the long dead rattle hollowly as you gather them, the only sound in the grim silence that accompanies your labor. The bones, at least, do not smell. After about 45 minutes of this grim sorting, you stand back, surveying your work. The dead are now organized into 3 distinct piles, the recent, the rotting, and the bones.
Well, that description was, grim. I could actually taste the smells you were describing.
Oh no, that was me. I may have pooped. Sorry about that.
That's fucking disgusting, dude. Can't you give us some warning next time?
No, that'd take the fun away from watching you guys notice it.
Huh? I can't smell anything. Oh, wait. Yep, there it is. Yuck.
Ugh, what the hell have you been eating, man?
Everything.
I'm just going to put it out there. I feel like it was a well-placed poot. It certainly added to the flavor of the description.
I wouldn't use the word flavor.
All right, guys, we're getting a little sidetracked. Now that we've separated them all, we need to begin rummaging through them, searching for anything that could be used as a key. But remember, it does not need to be a metal key. It could be anything.
Give me an investigation check with advantage, Tronald.
That's a 19 total.
Okay then. As you delve into the pile of bones that have been deceased the longest, the bones, bleached white and dry, clatter and clink under your tentative touches. With Tronald's reminder ringing in your ears, you sift through the debris. The task is morbid, each movement unearthing remnants that might once have been cherished possessions or mere everyday items, now rendered strange by their long burial. Amongst the bones, your search yields a curious assortment of items. A rusted iron locket containing a faded painting of a hairy-looking dwarven woman, a set of miniature bone dice, intricately carved and yellowed with age, and a bizarrely shaped key made from what appears to be the tooth of some large, unknown creature. You also find a small, cracked hourglass, its sand long since stuck to the glass. Saxy, you uncover a piece of crumpled, dirt-stained paper. Unfolding it carefully, you reveal a note, written in common script, though the contents are anything but ordinary. It reads, "My dearest Molthrop, your scales glisten more brightly than the dew on spiderwebs at dawn. Your eyes gleam with the fire of the sun-scorched plains I adore. When you hiss, it's like the sweetest lullaby to my ears. I long to caress your cold reptilian skin and count every magnificent scale. Meet me by the swamp under the moon's full gaze where we can entwine our tales and whisper sweet nothings into the night. Forever yours, Steve." The letter is ludicrous in its romantic overtures to a presumably dragonborn lover. Meanwhile, Alexandrew, you discover another slip of paper, its edges frayed and the ink faded, but still legible enough to hint at importance. You hold it up, squinting at the script that twists and curls in a manner eerily reminiscent of the writing on the lockbox. Though you can't decipher the words, the style is unmistakable.
Hey, Tronald, I think I found something.
Hand it over then, let's have a look.
I hand the piece of paper over to Tronald.
Joe, can I read whatever is on it?
As Alexandrew extends his hand to you, Tronald, the slip of paper nestled between his fingers catches the silver rays of moonlight. You take it from him, the parchment feeling both fragile and inexplicably heavy in your grasp. As your eyes fall upon the script, a strange sensation washes over you, a flicker of recognition as if the words were meant for you to read. To any other eye, the characters would twist and convolute into an indecipherable script, but to you they stand clear and direct as common. It is an oddity you've encountered before, Arcantarian script, a magical and ancient text. The message on the paper reads distinctly, "Open for me, for I have the key. The key is my voice. The key is myself."
Nice job, Alexandrew. I'm almost certain that this is the key we were looking for.
How can you be so certain?
Well, because it literally says key like 3 times in the space of a sentence.
Oh, well, yeah, that would be a fair assumption then.
So what's the plan? We're gonna head back to the vault and see if this little piece of paper opens up the sucky box?
Please don't refer to it as the sucky box. It makes it sound weird.
Huh? But it is fucking weird.
Yeah, but not that kind of weird. You know what? Never mind.
No, I don't want to head back just yet. I think there's the potential for us to discover a lot more information here.
Well, if you think I'm going to start rummaging again in that pile of rot and shit, you can fuck off, man. Get your big green god to help. All he's been doing this whole time is staring at that goddamn frog.
His name is Pepe. And if you interrupt Pepe one more time from telling me about his children, I'm going to slap the shit out of you.
Will you two calm the hell down? No, I don't need us to rummage through the corpses anymore. I just need you to show me which skeleton you got this sheet of paper from, Alexandrew.
Oh, right. Well, why didn't you open with that? It was this one over here. I point to the skeleton I found the paper in, Joe.
Because I do what I want when I want. All right, Joe. I make my way over to the skeleton. Then I want to check, see if it was obvious how he died. Damage to bones and whatnot.
Okay, cool. Give me an investigation check.
Bleh, that's a 12.
Tronald, you approach the skeleton with a sense of purpose, your eyes scanning for any telltale signs that might reveal the circumstances of the deceased's demise. You kneel beside the bones and begin your investigation methodically, examining the skeleton from skull to toe. The bones are old, their surfaces pocked and weathered by time and the elements. Despite your earnest efforts, deciphering specific details proves challenging. The wear of years has erased finer indicators of trauma or struggle that might have been preserved under other circumstances. However, as your hands gently probe and shift the arrangement, one glaring anomaly asserts itself. The spine of the skeleton is not just damaged, it is utterly shattered. The vertebrae are fragmented so severely that it's a wonder the skeleton held together when you initially moved it. The destruction is centralized, suggesting a forceful, direct blow that likely spelled a swift and violent end.
Wow, that's brutal.
Huh? What is it? What have you noticed?
His spine is utterly shattered. Like, damn, he was destroyed. You know what? I want to know how he died. It's too interesting to avoid. Joe, I want to lay my hand over the skeleton and cast retrospective gaze.
Oh, damn. Is that the spell that you used on that dude who was spying on us to see his final moments?
Yep, that's precisely the one.
Frickin' awesome, man.
What level are you doing this at, Tronald?
I'm going to be upcasting it as high as I can, so level 3.
For anyone wondering what this spell is, let me read out the spell's description. By touching a creature that has expired, you forge a mystical bond with its residual life essence. As a silent observer, in an instant you relive the final minute of the creature's life, viewing the world through its eyes. Time around you ceases to progress during this period, making your exploration appear instantaneous to onlookers. At higher levels, when you cast this spell using a spell slot of 3rd level or higher, the window of time you can observe extends. With a 3rd level slot, you witness the last 10 minutes of the creature's life. At 4th level, the duration extends to 1 hour. At 5th level, you can view up to 8 hours prior. At 6th, 1 week. 7th, 1 month. At 8th, 1 year. And at level 9, you witness their whole life in the blink of an eye.
Honestly, that's such a fucking cool spell. Creepy as shit, but undeniably cool.
Whoa, so you're telling me when you reach your peak performance, you'll be able to see every aspect of someone's life?
Yep, that's right. I mean, they would have to be dead, though, for the spell to work.
What about the dirty parts? Would they be censored, or do you see everything?
What the actual fuck might? I don't have a clue, but I'd presume you would see everything, unfiltered. I can't imagine the source of magic has many community guidelines.
That's actually hilarious. When someone normal thinks about 9th level spells, spells that could rival gods, most people think about altering the world, changing the fabric of reality, or unleashing chaos beyond measure. But might? Nah, he just wants to know whether he could use it as quick access to a porn stash.
Blasphemy. I was just curious, that's all.
Well, you know what they say. Curiosity killed the cat.
Oh, he's back. I'm glad you've turned your attention away from that, from Pepe, back to us.
I feel like we've used that line, at the start of our adventure.
Yeah, we have. But now was as good of a time as any to repeat it because, well, he's a cat.
I'm a goddamn tabaxi, you heathen.
No, you're not. You're a horny fucking bipedal cat.
Shifting away from Might's horniness, I've just had a thought. That spell would be perfect for interrogation, if you wanted to see extreme details, that is.
No, it wouldn't. I've already told you, I can't use it on someone unless they're dead.
Yeah, I know what you said, but I was thinking you'd just kill them, do your creepy spell, then bring them back to life with a revivify. It'd be a perfect interrogation. Smooth, clean, tasteful, perfect.
He's not wrong.
Right, well, we will just slide that idea into the idea box. Joe, I'm doing the spell now, so hush, all of you.
Tronald, as you lay your hands upon the shattered spine of the skeleton, you begin to chant the incantations required for the retrospective gaze spell. The air around you thickens, shimmering slightly as if heat were rising from the very ground beneath your feet. The words fall from your lips, weaving into the ether, creating a bridge to the past. Your touch on the skeleton becomes the anchor, and with a final whisper of the spell, reality shifts. The present blurs, a whirlwind of colors and sensations as you are thrust backward through time. The world around you accelerates, shadows lengthen and shorten in rapid succession. The sun races across the sky only to be replaced by the moon in the blink of an eye, over and over, as days turn into nights in mere moments. Structures rise and fall, the landscape itself morphing from the decayed ruins you know so well into a vibrant, living scene. Suddenly, everything snaps into focus and you find yourself standing in the midst of what is unmistakably the goblin camp. However, it is not the dilapidated, chaotic sprawl you've come to know. Instead, the fort before you is intact. Pronounced in its architecture, its walls robust and lined with banners that flutter proudly in the gentle breeze. The air is filled with the sounds of life and laughter, a contrast to the tarnish of its future state. The fort is beautiful, bathed in the burnt orange glow of a setting sun that casts long, dramatic shadows across the busy courtyard. You can feel a note crumpled inside the pocket of the fine tunic you wear, a tunic that is not yours but Lord Gallius's. Your fingers play over the paper absent-mindedly, squeezing it as a smile lines your face, a reflection of contentment, or perhaps secretive joy that is not your own, but a memory you are reliving. Compelled by memories that are not yours, you walk with purpose towards a roaring campfire where a group of figures, distinguished and robust, sit discussing matters of weight. As you approach, they rise, their movements respectful and deliberate, bowing slightly in a gesture of deference to their lord. One of them, a robust man with a thick beard, extends a metal tankard of mead towards you. Taking the tankard, you feel the warmth of the fire against your skin, and the smell of roasting meat and pine wood fills the air. The figures return to their seats, inviting you to join them. The conversation is rich with strategic discourse, punctuated with hearty laughter, an echo of a camaraderie born of trust and shared purpose. You take a seat, the wooden bench solid beneath you, the heat of the fire contrasting with the cool evening air. As you sip the mead, its warmth spreads through you, and you listen, observe, and feel the last peaceful moments before the violent end that awaits Lord Gallius. As you sit among your men, enjoying the camaraderie and warmth of the fire, the air suddenly shifts. It becomes chillingly cold, a sharp contrast to the comforting heat moments ago, as if the very atmosphere could shatter like glass. The laughter and talk die down, replaced by a silence that weighs heavily around you. Then, piercing the quiet, a scream echoes from the direction of the gate. The initial shock of the sound grips everyone's attention. A moment of frozen apprehension hangs in the air before it is violently shattered as the gate explodes inward. Splinters of wood and clouds of dust billow into the courtyard as a hooded, cloaked figure strides through the chaos. With a commanding shout, you urge your men to attack the intruder. They rally quickly, swords drawn, moving to intercept. but it is as if they face a force of nature rather than a man. One by one, they are cut down mercilessly, their efforts to strike proving futile against the swift, brutal efficiency of the cloaked figure. Their bodies fall to the ground, lifeless, before they can even graze him. Panic grips you as the battlefield instincts kick in. You turn to run, but in the blink of an eye, the figure is in front of you, blocking your path. His presence is overpowering, his energy dark and intense. Who are you? What do you want? The words spill from your lips, a mixture of fear and the need to understand why this is happening. The man remains hooded, his face obscured, but from your vantage, you can see he is much shorter than you. He raises his hands, and as he does, screams permeate every facet of the fort's grounds, cries of terror that rise to a deafening crescendo and then cut off abruptly, leaving a haunting silence. He looks up at you, and his voice is cold, devoid of emotion.
I want to kill you. I want to witness the extinguishing of your light as it fades from your eyes.
His words are simple, but they chill you to the bone. Before you can respond, he thrusts a fist into your abdomen. You feel an excruciating crunch as your spine shatters under his grip, your body going numb from the intense pain. And then, just as suddenly as it began, you are thrust back to the present. The vision ceases, and you find yourself standing by the skeletal remains, the touch of the bones under your fingers, the only link to the horrific past you just witnessed.
Whoa. So somebody really didn't like this guy. I mean, really didn't like him. And by someone, I mean Visurial.
What, so it was Visurial who killed him? Why?
Yep, and not just him, but everyone. Seriously, he just came in like a bat out of hell and just started slaughtering everyone. As for why, I haven't got the foggiest. Maybe they pissed him off.
Oh, do you think so? I don't see how someone would massacre an entire fort by themselves and not be pissed off at something or someone.
So he must be pretty powerful if he did all of that by himself.
Dude, are you even paying attention? He's the dude who handled us like we were children. No, less than children. He handled us like you do a fucking fly that's buzzing around you too much. Except, unlike the fly, we had to just stand there and take his swatting. He's Asmodeus's goddamn grandson. Of course he's powerful.
Well, it's certainly interesting to know that he's got some serious beef with the people who potentially screwed me over. Do you think we should align with him?
One, I don't think you have a say in the matter whether he chooses to align with you or not. And two, no, we fucking shan't. Oh yeah, let's just go along with the guy that's wanting to bring Orcus and Vecna to the mortal realm to kill everyone so he can start afresh and have peace. Yeah. I think I'm not going to align with those values.
I was only joking. Anyway, that's my curiosity stemmed. So, shall we head back in and see what's in this lockbox before we finally get some rest?
Yeah, I hope it's something good now. Else this really will just have felt like a giant waste of time. Imagine if it's just some dirty magazines.
At least Might will be happy about it.
Tronald, is Arcantarian booty different to the booty over here?
What, how the hell should I know? I can't remember, man.
Well, if it is Maggie's, I call dibs.
You disgust me.
Right, well, back to the lockbox we go. Joe, I'm going to try and repeat the words to it. Open for me, for I have the key. The key is my voice. The key is myself.
All right. As the words hang in the air, the lockbox responds. It begins to shimmer slightly, its surface catching the light as if recognizing the invocation. But then, almost with a sense of defiance, the shimmering fades as quickly as it appeared. The box emits a sound akin to a gasp or a groan, a deep resonant refusal to yield. It remains firmly shut.
That's weird. Maybe you have to be the one to do it, Tronald? You know, because you've got that bloodline in you.
I seriously doubt that. How would Gallius have managed to open it if it had to be an Arcantarian bloodline?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Then why isn't it opening?
Open for me, for I have the key. That, in my opinion, is the beginning of the unlocking process. There's nothing fancy there. But then we move on to the key is my voice. Now that, I think, is the first aspect of what actually unlocks it. So we've got that already. But then we come to the last part. The key is myself. Well, at this point, we've already acknowledged that the key is my voice. So why repeat the same thing with slightly different wording?
Are you going anywhere with this, Tronald? Like, do you know the answer? Or are you just testing us?
Of course I know the answer. It's blood. The person who utters the phrase has to spill some of their own blood onto the lockbox.
Oh, right. Well, in that case, Joe, I'm going to pull out my rapier and drive my hand up it, giving it a shallow slash. Then, I'm going to repeat the phrase again, before letting my blood drip down onto the metal.
All right then. You all watch intently as Saxy positions the blade carefully and drives his hand up its edge, a quick motion that draws a shallow slash across his palm. He then repeats the phrase. Blood begins to well from the wound. With a steady hand, Saxy, you let the droplets fall, spattering onto the cold surface of the lockbox. The blood seems to hang for a moment before it touches the metal, as if hesitant to mar its ancient facade. Then, as the first drop makes contact, the box responds. It emits a low groan, deep and resonant, like the earth itself stirring from a long slumber. The sound is one of appeasement, as if the box recognizes and accepts the offering. The blood, crimson against the dark metal, begins to get absorbed into the container, seeping into the tiny crevices of the lockbox's surface. It flows along the line where the lid meets the base, tracing it like a map drawn in red. The air around the box begins to thrum with energy, then slowly the lid starts to lift. It doesn't swing open as a normal box might, on hinges or a latch, but rises directly upwards, defying gravity. It hovers about 3 feet above the base of the box, suspended in the air by an unseen force.
How long do you reckon we have before that thing closes? And do you think it'll just slam shut or close slowly like that? Because I don't really want to have my head or arms in there if it shuts quickly and without warning.
Raarh, why don't you send Pepe in first to have a look, to see if it's safe?
You're lucky I don't fold you up like a sun lounger and stuff you in there after such a traitorous suggestion.
So, is that a no?
It's a go fuck yourself.
I see.
Well, I'm just going to have a look inside of it, Joe. Screw waiting around any longer. What do I find?
Saxy, as you lean into the lockbox, you find an assortment of items. First, there are 3 scrolls, each carefully rolled and housed within their own cylindrical containers. The scrolls are labeled in a script that, once again, dances before your eyes, its characters flowing like water, elusive and unfamiliar. Beside the scrolls, resting unassumingly in the corner of the box, is a small metal statue about 30 centimeters in height. The figure is simple, a metal man, with arms positioned straight down at his sides. Its surface of it lacks any form of embellishments, just an incredibly simple ornament. However, what truly captures your attention is a rifle that occupies the majority of the space within the lockbox. The weapon is about 7 feet long, an imposing presence crafted with intricate mechanisms and unfamiliar designs. It is unlike any firearm you have ever seen, blending the aesthetic of ancient craftsmanship with perplexing advanced technology. Its surfaces are etched with symbols that match the script of the scrolls.
All right, well, I'm going to take everything out, handing everything except the rifle to Tronald. Here you go, buddy. You might want to identify these when you get chance.
I'm not going to lie. I feel pretty used these last couple of sessions. Identify this, identify that.
Well, if you're not interested in the scrolls, we can just put them back.
I'll identify them.
That's what I thought. Joe, I want to have a detailed look into this rifle to see if I can figure it out.
Give me either an investigation check or an arcana check. Or you can make a flat roll with disadvantage to try figure out both properties of it.
Meh, I'll do the flat roll with disadvantage. Okay, so that's a 14.
Saxy, you delicately place the rifle on the floor. Your fingers glide across the surface, tracing the runes and glyphs that are not merely etched, but fully integrated into the structure of the rifle. These markings pulsate with a soft luminescence, indicating their active role in the weapon's function. Interestingly, traditional mechanical components like the trigger have been completely replaced by glyphs. Where you would expect to find a metal trigger, there's instead a complex glyph, glowing slightly under your touch. This sigil seems to sense your interaction, vibrating with a potent energy as your fingers dance over it. The barrel of the rifle, too, abandons conventional design. It is lined with fluted spirals, each carved deeply and filled with intricate runes that promise to stabilize and perhaps even guide the energies it discharges. These markings suggest that the weapon fires not ordinary bullets, but concentrated blasts of magical force, each shot dictated by the arcane scripts that spiral around the metal. Even the stock of the weapon disregards the use of the usual wood or metal for a material that feels both organic and fabricated, embedded with sleek, rune-covered panels. These serve as interfaces for what might be arcane adjustments, altering everything from the intensity and nature of the weapon's energy output to protective enchantments for the wielder. Holding the rifle, Saxy, you realize you're in possession of a masterpiece of magical engineering. This weapon does not merely blur the lines between magic and mechanism, it erases them.
Ooh, woo! I want to test this bad boy out. Joe, I lift it up, aim it at an empty piece of wall, and fire.
Hold on a second. Maybe you shouldn't.
All right, man, you press your hand against the trigger glyph, the mystical substitute for a conventional trigger. Instantly, the internal mechanisms of the rifle begin to whir, a sound filled with power. The runes along the barrel and body of the rifle pulse vibrantly, lighting up in a sequence that suggests a buildup of arcane energy. The air around the weapon crackles slightly, an electricity that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. However, just as the crescendo of mechanical and magical activity reaches its peak, it abruptly ceases. The whirring slows and the glowing runes dim, the rifle settling back into silence. It simmers down without releasing a shot, leaving a sense of anticlimax hanging in the air. No blast comes, no energy is discharged, and the wall remains untouched.
That's a shame. Well, it looks like there's going to be a few more details about this that I need to figure out before I can actually use it. Will I be able to squeeze it inside my bag of holding, Joe?
Yeah, sure, man.
Right, well, I'm absolutely pooped, so let's get some rest.
Aren't you going to identify that stuff first?
Nah, I'll do it in the morning. It gives me something to look forward to.
We probably don't need to keep watch tonight, do we? Seeing as there's hundreds of goblins out there willing to protect us?
I'd suggest we keep watch anyway. I mean, Rattlebone is still out there. There's also Glink. So, yeah, we should keep a lookout just to be on the safe side.
All right then, guys. So you begin to unload your gear and find comfortable spots amidst the confines of the vault.
Actually, Joe, I'm going to cast Tronald's tiny tower. Might as well if we're being cautious.
Okay, as a ritual or normally?
Normally. Seeb's waiting 11 more minutes before sleepies.
Cool. So, after around 1 minute, the familiar tower springs to life. You all step inside and get comfy, hoping for a pleasant night's sleep. All right then, guys. So you're now level 7. Have a think about what you want to choose and we can discuss it at the start of next session.
Hell yeah, man. Level 4 spells. Here we come.